What's up, guys? We have some insane news coming out of Lucasfilm Games this morning. They have just announced that Ubisoft, not EA, but Ubisoft is working on a brand new open-world Star Wars game. This is huge for Star Wars gamers. Ever since Battlefront 2 got its support cut back in early 2020, gamers have been wondering what the next big Star Wars project is going to be, and I think we finally have our answer. This news comes right after Lucasfilm itself announced its own rebranding, and an announcement for a brand new Indiana Jones game being developed by Bethesda. We just put out a video going over all of the hidden details in the Indiana Jones trailer, so if you're a fan of the Indy series, be sure to click on the bubble in the top right, or check out the description below to see us break all that down. Today's news, though, is for the Star Wars fans, and the news today is absolutely massive. Pun intended, since Massive Entertainment, a subsidiary of Ubisoft, will be the development studios behind this open-world Star Wars game. Massive Entertainment is also the studios behind Tom Clancy's The Division, so if you're a fan of that franchise, you might know what to expect going into this new Star Wars title. This news is big not only just for the fact that it's a new Star Wars game, but it's also the fact that it's being published by Ubisoft. Up until this point, all of the recent Star Wars games put out have been under the banner of Electronic Arts, and they still have a contract with Disney and Lucasfilm to make Star Wars games for another 2 years, but it seems like all of that is changing a little bit earlier than expected. EA still does hold the exclusive rights to make Star Wars games, at least until the year 2023, so it's probably safe to say that we will not see this new open-world game before then. We'll get back to EA shortly. Next, let's take a look at some words from Douglas Riley, the vice president of Lucasfilm Games, and see what he has to say about this new announcement. In an interview with StarWars.com, Riley says, "We've got a lot of stuff we're ready to start sharing with fans, because we've been working quietly behind the scenes for a while now, waiting for this moment." By this moment, I can only assume he means the rebranding of Lucasfilm Games, since both the announcement for this game and the Indiana Jones game comes right after their rebranding. Riley confirms in this interview that the new game will be a story-driven, open-world Star Wars game being made in collaboration with Lucasfilm and Ubisoft. It's a genre long requested by fans, and it will come to life via Massive Entertainment. We don't have any of the basic details for this game yet. No title, no release date, and no word about how far into development it is. In fact, it sounds like it's very early into development, seeing as Massive Entertainment is currently hiring for this project and others. We do know, though, that this game will run on the Snowdrop engine, the proprietary technology of Ubisoft, so right away this game will already look different from Battlefront 2, Jedi Fallen Order, and Star Wars Squadrons. Both Battlefront 2 and Squadrons run on Frostbite, while Fallen Order runs on the Unreal Engine 4, so it'll be cool to have a new Star Wars title that runs on something entirely different and looks different from what we've already got. So what does this mean for Star Wars games under EA for the next 2 years? Well, according to this interview on StarWars.com, the relationship between Lucasfilm and EA will still continue, at least until their contract is fully up in 2023. Despite how this news might sound, Riley says that their relationship with Electronic Arts has never been stronger, and they will continue working with them going into the future of Star Wars games. He says while they may not have a lot of details to share at the moment, there are a number of projects underway with the talented teams at EA. And this does make sense. We've already known that Respawn Entertainment is currently working on the sequel to Jedi Fallen Order, so already that's one major project that will still be under the banner of EA once it drops. So this does not mean that Electronic Arts' contract is ending early, and it does not mean that they will no longer be working on Star Wars games. Neither of those are true. But what it does mean is that Lucasfilm Games is now opening the door to more development studios and more publishers to try their hand at Star Wars games, which is what we gamers have wanted all along. Despite however you might feel about EA as a company and how they run the Star Wars IP, the amount of Star Wars games they've released since they've had the contract can be counted on one hand, and that's not a very good look if you're a fan of this gaming franchise. Either way, though, it looks like after 2023, their contract for the exclusive rights to Star Wars games will not be renewed, and this is basically confirmed by a reporter for Bloomberg News, Jason Schreier, who is usually super in tight with all things in the know regarding video games. Earlier today, he tweeted this out. He says, "With today's news that Ubisoft Massive is making a Star Wars game, it's official that the EA exclusivity arrangement will not be renewed past 2023. Going on to explain that in the 8 years since EA signed the deal, the publisher has released 4 games and canceled at least 3. With several of those canceled projects actually having players pretty hyped to try them out. So EA has definitely had some hits, but they've also had a couple of misses too. But we do know that there is more coming out of the pipeline at EA, and even more coming out of Lucasfilm Games itself. After the announcement of the rebranding of Lucasfilm Games, it's clear that there is meaning in that change. Riley says, "This is really the culmination of years of preparing to come out and say, we're here. We've got a team of people, we're going to make a lot of great games, and here are some new things you weren't expecting from us to do that we're now starting to do." And he says that this is going to keep going for another year or so, where they're going to continue to announce projects that are more representative of the legacy of the old Lucasfilm games that they're now trying to live up to. And that could possibly be the best news out of all of this. The fact that they're trying to return to form, maybe go back to the old days of LucasArts where they were pumping out a new game every other week, it felt like. That really was the golden age for Star Wars games. Before the dark times. Before EA. So now knowing that they're trying to return to their old form, this announcement of a new open-world Star Wars game is actually a perfect icebreaker, since this is a genre that the Star Wars gamers have wanted for a very long time now. It shows that they really have been listening to the players and they know what we want, and now that Lucasfilm Games is out in the open, I think we're going to start seeing more and more announcements for new and upcoming Star Wars games as time goes on. We know the sequel to Fallen Order is in development, we now know an open world game is in development. Who knows what else is cooking behind the scenes that they just have not yet come out and announced yet. This really is a great time to be a Star Wars gaming fan, and even just a fan of Lucasfilm in general. As we talked about at the beginning of this video, there's the new Indiana Jones game coming out alongside the new Star Wars projects. With Star Wars heading into the new era of the High Republic, we're probably going to see some games that revolve around that time period, and may even go back in time and explore some of the time periods that we're familiar with. One of the canceled games from EA, Project Ragtag, was rumored to be an open-world game, so maybe this game in development now could be a revival of Ragtag, which was set around the Galactic Empire era. Whatever else Lucasfilm, Ubisoft, and EA have cooking for us, this is a great time to be a Star Wars gaming fan, and I think we're all looking forward to the future. In the comments below, let me know what you hope to see out of this new open world game, what you think it's going to be about, and what other Star Wars games you want to see come out of Lucasfilm. If you guys enjoyed today's news update, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Either way, consider subscribing to the channel and getting notified to stay in the loop with more Star Wars gaming news. But that's going to do it from me. I appreciate you all stopping by the bazaar, and I will see you next time. Peace.